70% of women cannot orgasm from penetration alone. Yes, 70%. And most men hear that and think, she just can't get there that way. But that's the wrong conclusion entirely. Those women can get there. They just needed one thing their body required before penetration began, and it takes exactly 20 minutes. Yet most men don't know this. A woman came to see me not long ago. She's been married for 14 years. Their marriage was good, with a loving husband who genuinely tried, and she had never, not once, not in 14 years, had an orgasm from sex with him. She sat in my office, convinced that something was wrong with her, that she was broken in some way, that other women had something she didn't, and her husband had quietly accepted the same story. He tried everything he knew, and what he knew wasn't working, so he assumed the problem was her. The problem was 20 minutes. Specifically, the 20 minutes he was skipping before he ever touched her. And once he stopped skipping them, once he understood what those 20 minutes actually do to a woman's body, everything changed. Her orgasms came easily, regularly, sometimes more than once, and neither of them could believe they'd spent 14 years not knowing something this simple. Today, I'm telling you what he finally learned. I'm Valerie, sex therapist, and this is the single most important thing I teach men about the female body. Stay with me. Okay, so let me start with something that is going to reframe everything you think you know about female arousal. A woman's body has the same amount of erectile tissue as a man's body. The exact same amount. In a man, that tissue is visible and external. It fills with blood when he's aroused and produces an erection. The process takes a minute or two, sometimes less, and once it's happened, his body is physically ready. The tissue is engorged, blood-filled, sensitive, alive. Now, in a woman, that same tissue exists, just arranged differently. It wraps around the vaginal canal, it extends into the clitoris, it runs along the inner walls, and it needs to fill with blood in exactly the same way his does. The difference is that her process takes 20 minutes, sometimes longer if it's been a while, sometimes longer if she's stressed or distracted or not yet mentally in the room. And here's the thing that changes everything once you truly understand it. When a woman is not fully engorged, when that tissue is still flat, still waiting, still half filled with blood, and penetration happens anyway, she is essentially having sex without an erection. The tissue is dormant, and sex with dormant tissue is friction. It's pressure. It's something she endures rather than something she feels. You see, this is why so many women lie there during sex thinking about other things. Why so many women describe sex as fine but nothing more. Why so many women have spent years quietly convinced they are incapable of what other women seem to feel. But they are capable. They were just never given the 20 minutes their body needed to get there. So today, that changes. Now, I want to tell you what full engorgement feels like from the inside, because I want you to understand what you're building toward. Okay, when a woman is fully engorged, when that tissue has had the time it needs to fill completely, her entire body changes. It becomes warm, plump, deeply sensitive in a way it simply is not at rest. The inner walls of the vagina swell and soften. The clitoris, which extends much deeper internally than most people realize, becomes fully present in a way that transforms what she feels during penetration. Every touch lands differently. Every sensation travels further. What would have been pressure becomes pleasure. What would have been friction becomes fire. And this state, become this fully engorged, fully alive state, is what her body was designed to be in during sex. The women who have experienced it describe it as completely different from anything they felt before. Like the difference between hearing music through a wall versus being inside the room where it's playing. Alright, so how do you get her there? Here's exactly what the 20 minutes looks like. So, you start by holding her. Just holding. She lies down or she curls into you. Your arms go around her. Her back against your chest or her head against your shoulder. However feels natural. And you stay there. You don't start touching. You don't start building toward anything. You just hold her and you breathe. And you let her feel that you are completely present and in absolutely no hurry. Now here is what is happening in her body during those 5 minutes. The cortisol she has been producing all day. From the job, the kids, the mental load, everything she has been managing since she woke up starts to drop. Where her nervous system begins to shift from the high alert state it has been in all day into something slower, something that can actually feel. A woman cannot move into full arousal from a cortisol state. Her body physically cannot do it. The stress hormone and the arousal response are opposites. And most men start touching before the cortisol has had any time to clear. So you hold her. You breathe slowly. You let her come down from the day. And when you feel her body soften, when her shoulders drop slightly, when her breathing slows, when she stops holding herself and starts holding you back, that's the signal. Now you begin to touch her. And I mean slowly. Slower than feels natural to you. You start with her back. Long, warm strokes from the base of her spine up to her shoulders. Your hands are warm. If they're cold, warm them first. Because cold hands on skin jolts her out of the moment instantly. Use oil if you have it. The slide of warm oil on skin is one of the most direct routes into her body's relaxation response. Now you move to her shoulders, the back of her neck, the space between her shoulder blades where women carry tension they don't even know they're holding. Take your time here. You are genuinely releasing tension from her body. And there is a specific thing that happens when a man takes time on a woman's back and neck and shoulders with real attention. Her body reads it as safe, as wanted, as someone who is interested in her whole body. And that signal her nervous system receives is what begins to open the arousal pathway. Now move to the sides of her body, her rib cage, her waist, the curve of her hips. Take your time on the inner arms, on the inner wrists. These are places that almost never get touched, and they are surprisingly sensitive. You are waking up her skin, bringing blood to the surface, and every place your hands move slowly over her body, you are contributing to the engorgement process her body needs. And now her breasts. This is where most men make the mistake of rushing. So don't. So warm your hands again if you need to. Use oil and begin with the outer edges, the sides of her breasts, the undersides, the area around them on her chest. Work inward slowly. Think of it as expanding circles that gradually move toward the center, toward the nipple. But take your time getting there. You see, breast tissue is dense with nerve endings that connect directly to her genital response. When you stimulate her breasts slowly with warmth and real attention, it creates a physical response in her vulva. Blood flow increases, tissue begins to engorge, and she can feel the connection between what your hands are doing on her chest and what is happening in her body lower down. When you finally reach the nipple, and this should take longer than you think, use light touch first. A slow circle with your fingertip. A gentle roll between your thumb and forefinger. Watch how her body responds and let that guide you. Some women want more pressure as they become aroused. Some want the touch to stay feather light. Her breathing will tell you. The way her back arches slightly, the way she shifts her body toward your hands. That is her telling you to keep going exactly like that. Stay here longer than you think you need to. Most men spend 30 seconds on the breast and move on. The men who stay, who treat this like a destination rather than a rest stop, walk out of the bedroom having had a completely different experience. Okay, by the time you have moved through all of that, the holding, the back, the breast, she is partially engorged. The blood is moving, the tissue is filling, and she is present in her body in a way she probably wasn't when you started. Now you move your hands down, slowly over her stomach, along the inside of her thighs, and stay on the inner thighs longer than you think necessary. The skin here is thin, the nerve endings are close to the surface, and warm hands moving slowly along the inner thigh, getting closer but not arriving, builds a specific anticipation that her body responds to intensely. Now you are still not touching her directly, you are circling. And the circling is physiological preparation. Her body is pulling blood toward the area. Her tissue is filling. And every pass of your hands along the inner thigh that comes close but doesn't arrive is accelerating that process. When you finally move to touch her directly, and she will make it clear when she needs you to, either by shifting her body toward you or pulling your hand, or simply by the way her breathing has changed, you start with broad, warm touch that covers the whole area before it gets specific. You let her feel warmth and presence before you focus on anything precise. And then you find the clitoris, and here everything slows down further. Now, light touch, slow circles. You are listening to her body the entire time, watching her breathing, feeling whether she is moving toward your hand or away from it. See, paying attention to the small sounds she makes when she responds, when her breathing shortens, when she pushes toward you. You stay exactly where you are and you keep doing exactly what you're doing. All right. The single most common mistake men make at this moment is changing what they are doing right when it is working. She starts responding and they go faster or harder or shift position because they think more intensity will get her there faster. And what was building collapses. So when she starts responding, hold your rhythm, hold your pressure, hold exactly what you're doing and let it build. By the time you have spent 5 focused, unhurried minutes here, her body is fully engorged. The tissue is plump and alive and capable of feeling everything. She is present in a way she almost never is during rushed sex. That is the 20 minutes. Now, I want to pause here because what comes next? What to do during sex once she is in the state, the specific techniques, the positions, the rhythms that work with a fully engorged body, and why. That is a conversation this platform won't let me finish. So it lives in Valerie Uncensored, my private newsletter. Explicit, specific, unfiltered. Everything I cannot say here. The link is in the description. That's where you go next. So, you have given her the 20 minutes. And now you're both somewhere completely different from where you were at the start. And her body is different now. The tissue that was flat is now full. The sensitivity that was dormant is now alive. And when a penetration happens from this state, when she is fully engorged, fully present, fully in her body, the experience is a different experience entirely. The nerve endings that couldn't fire before are firing now. Every movement you make inside her is landing in tissue that is plump and responsive and capable of feeling everything. Now, here's something I want you to understand about multiple orgasms because it connects directly to everything I just told you. You see, women who have multiple orgasms are women who were given enough time to fully engorge before sex began. When a woman has one orgasm and immediately needs you to stop, when she is suddenly hypersensitive and overstimulated, That is what happens when the body was pushed to the finish line before it was fully ready. The orgasm was real. But it came from tissue that was only partially engorged, and now that tissue has nowhere to go but into overwhelm. But when engorgement is complete, the orgasm comes from a completely different place, from tissue that was fully alive before it ever started building. And after the first wave, that tissue wants more. It has more to give. The second wave and the third come more easily than the first because the body gets richer with each one. This is what women mean when they talk about orgasms that keep getting better, that build on each other, that stretch into something larger than anything she thought she was capable of. She was given the conditions her body had always needed, and her body did exactly what it was always designed to do. Okay, let me bring this together. So, when sex has felt mechanical, when she seemed somewhere else, when she came eventually, but it always felt like work for both of you, none of that was about desire, and none of it was about compatibility. It was about 20 minutes. You see, her body is built with the same erectile tissue yours is built with, and that tissue needs time to fill. When it hasn't filled, she is physically incapable of feeling what she is capable of feeling. Full stop. Give her the 20 minutes. Hold her first until she settles. Move to her back, her neck, her shoulders. Take her breasts seriously. Stay there longer than feels necessary. Move to the inner thighs. Circle slowly before you arrive. Find the clitoris and hold your rhythm when her body starts responding. Then notice what happens. Notice how different she is by the time you get there. How present she is. How alive. How her body moves differently, responds differently, wants differently. Notice the sound that comes out of her, the way she holds you. Oh, and compare it to every time before when you skipped the beginning and went straight to the middle. Now, the women who think they're broken are capable of extraordinary pleasure. The men who think their partner just doesn't enjoy sex are almost always wrong. What's missing is 20 minutes, and now you know. And if you want everything else, the explicit detail, what to do once she is fully there, and the real conversation this platform won't let me finish, link is in the description. I'll see you there.